Hello and welcome back to Here We Tow. Jules and I are back out in the Travel Master and we have arrived at Southport Caravan and Motorhome Club site. Now Southport is in the northwest of England and this is a Victorian seaside resort in Merseyside. I've never been to Southport before. We arrived yesterday, so I've already been out there and had a quick look in Southport. And it's not what I expected at all. I was very pleasantly surprised. So in this video, I'm going to give you a look around the campsite here. Then we're going to head down along the seafront. I use the word seafront rather loosely because I don't know if we're going to see much sea. Have a look at the pier, and then we're going to go into Southport town centre itself. And I think that is actually the highlight of this area. So let's get cracked on with that. So what do we need to know? Let's say Jules and I got here yesterday. The drive into the club site is a little bit strange. Either follow the club directions or as you come in, we came in on Marine Drive, you do need to be looking for the park and ride car park. If you find that, you'll find the club site because it is not well signposted, so just be aware of that. But it's a really easy drive in, not a problem. Now the club site itself, this is a huge site. We'll just pan this way. There's 171 hard-standing pitches here on the club site. That's a lot of pitches. Hard-standing with electric. There are also some fully serviced pitches if you like those as well. Now when you arrive on the site, you'll come through the barrier and you've got the option of turning left to the north part of the site, which is a long row, but probably better if you don't want to walk as far into the town itself. Or you can come down the south end, which is where Jules and I came. It's November, it's Monday today, and you can see the site is very quiet. Weekends, I think this will be busy, and school holidays, it must be packed here. But yeah, so we've come down the south end. Now we are on pitch 131. In terms of sizes of pitches, well, you can see how big it is. The Travel Master, we're parked over on the far side. If you had a caravan or a motorhome, you can obviously park it there. You've got room for your awning, the room for your car, big pitches. It does say that there is a length limit on the site of 8.5 metres, so just be mindful of that. Price-wise, this has cost us about £69 and a certain number of pence for 2 nights. So basically £35 a night for 2 adults in November. Obviously, check on the club site for prices. Now, down at this south end, as I say, you can see the pitches as you pan round. You are going to have a bit of a walk back to the exit there, but there is a service block down here. So what I'm going to do is grab my bag, because you'll like my backpack, and then we're going to go have a look at the service point, the motorhome service point, how to exit the site from down this end, and then we will head up to reception and then fire off, make our way down the seafront and go to the pier. So come on, let's get going. So this is the service block in the south part of the site, so we've just trundled down. This is also one of the 2 motorhome service points. When we arrived, Jules and I pulled up here and filled up with fresh water. You will need a hose pipe and you need your little nipple as well, as Jules tells me it's called. If you've watched a video before a while ago, you'll know whether Jules was having me on or whether that's really what it's called. But anyway, there are your taps. Dump your grey waste here. There's also a chemical disposal point here, and then the men's and the ladies is round the back. There's a dishwashing area as well and an accessible family room here too. Now, interestingly, you have a key when you check in at the reception. The site team will give you a key, so it is a secure facility block as well. And the reason that is because there's a path that crosses through the site, so it's just for our security and our privacy, so that's always nice. So that is the facilities. There's also a bin point here, and there's a little biodiversity place just situated to the left as well that the site team have got here, so that's nice. So that is the facility block here down in the south end. In there, the showers, they are fixed heads, although there is one without a fixed head in the ladies. I can't tell you about the men's, I've not been in there. Lots of toilets, lots of sinks, so plenty of facilities. And just over here, there's the chemical waste point, that's with these bins. And also if you've got your Aquaroll with your Caravan, you can fill up and empty your grey waste here. Jules and I are literally just going to walk about 30 seconds there, and I'll show you the path, how you can then get out and make your way into Southport. So let's just trot on there. Now when you arrive, you'll get a site map, and on there it'll actually show this footpath that we're at now. Basically, I'm now walking back towards Southport. To my right, there's a path here. This will take you to what's called Rotten Row. Sounds lovely, I know, but it's actually quite a nice street, and it runs all the way back down towards Southport. So you can jump out here. There's also a huge area. Victoria Park is over here, so that's got a playground and it's a beautiful area. So that's definitely one to look at. There's a little railway as well, like a model toy railway thing. That's a really good description, I know. To the right, it wasn't running last night, so I don't know when that works, but that's there. And then the other way to go is this path then goes straight through the site. This is the path I was telling you about, and it pops you up there and it brings you out on Marine Drive. That's the road Jules and I drove in on. If you get that far, then you've missed the turning to the site, basically, when you're driving in. But if you just pop over there, you can get out to Marine Drive, turn right, and obviously walk along the front, the seafront, down into Southport. So two ways out, depending on which way you go. If you do go out that way, you'll find a restaurant called Penelope's. It is very upmarket, I believe, is probably the best way to describe it, but it is meant to be very good. So it's up to you whether you want to go there. So that's Penelope's, and you'll find that as you walk that way. You can also go out here and turn right on Rotten Row and then turn left, and that'll take you up to an area called Birkdale. And Birkdale's got a lot of cafes and restaurants and things like that as well. So that's another area you might want to explore. There's also a pub called The Fisherman's as well if you go out that way. Turn right on Rotten Row and then it's down to your left. So another pub, and that's not far from your pitch. Now this area Jules and I have come into, there's a mix of pitches here. This is the centre of the site. Here you're going to find hard standing pitches without awning, so if you booked without awning, and there's also pitches here that are fully serviced. So this is the centre of the site, and then there's the reception further up here and the other service block as well. The row that I've told you about, the North Row, is literally straight down this road, and it's a long line. So it depends whether you prefer this sort of more club site setup or that row. Right, I'll next see you up at the reception area. So here we have reception. Now Jules and I, we came in from here, so this is the turn. You'll come along on the Esplanade, turn left into here, and when you're a new arrival, obviously stop in front of reception. In there, I wandered in and was met by Janet, who was incredibly friendly and had a brilliant welcome, and she gave me some information about the area as well. I'd already booked and paid in advance. I used the app as well just to make it a bit easier. So I'd already paid in advance, went in, she explained about the site, gave me the map, and off Jules and I went to find a pitch. If you haven't been to Caravan and Motorhome Club sites before, basically what they do is they let you through the barrier, you find your pitch, and then you go back and let them know your pitch number, and that's when you'll get a fob for the barrier for the security, which is actually just round that corner. So that's how that works. Right, what Jules and I are going to do now is we're going to venture back out, and then we're going to wander down into Southport. So let's head off and make a start. So this is Esplanade. We've literally just come out of the entrance to the site there. Don't forget, don't arrive before 1 p.m. Otherwise you won't be able to go in, and you might get told off by the site team. But no, 1 o'clock on this club site. This road is literally a dead end, and this is why it's a little bit strange to find. On your map, when you look, it might look like you can actually come in from the roundabout at the bottom. You can't. You need to be at the roundabout nearer Southport to come in. We're walking up this road now to go back up to get onto Marine Drive. I wouldn't suggest that you come out here and walk up here. It's not very scenic. What you're probably best doing, there is that footpath that I showed you that leads off the site. I would come off there and cut across. If you're in the north part of the site, there's a footpath. It's literally just up here where Jules and I are about to come up to very soon. You can come out there and get out onto here if you want to do that. So you've got a couple of options. What I'm going to do, I'm going to power on down here, and then we will see you when we do get to Marine Drive and it gets a little bit more scenic, because this isn't the nicest part of Southport. I've probably wandered around while I've been here. Right, I'll see you up there. We're on Marine Drive now. If you look out for this great big pole, you won't go far wrong. So this is literally the seafront, as you can maybe see on camera, I don't know, but out there is the Irish Sea. And this is why I sort of make a bit of a joke about seeing the sea, because It's a considerable way out. There are beaches here. There is the Southport beach down this way. If you look at this sign here, so when you come, if you like walking, there's loads of places to walk. If you've got a bike and you like cycling, you'll be absolutely laughing because you've got all these cycle routes. You can see here we've got the 62. If you like walking, there's the England Coast Path. You'll see up there it says Ainsdale. That is about a 25-minute bike ride. On foot, I think it's about 4 miles from what I've seen. That's got a fabulous beach, so that might be worth heading up to. You can also drive and park up there as well. But if you want a proper nice beach, Ainsdale is the place to go, and that is that direction. And you can cycle up there, or you can carry on and cycle that way into Southport. So what Jules and I are going to do, we're going to walk all the way down Marine Drive, heading down to the pier. You can see the pier just jutting out down there. I believe it's actually closed at the moment, unfortunately, but I'll tell you a bit more about the pier when we get down there. So come on, let's head on down Marine Drive and take a look at this pier. We've come down to the pier now, so not too far. I do apologise, I've got my hands in my pockets. It is freezing today. It looks sunny and warm, but it's about 3 degrees, so it's cold. So I do apologise. Now the pier, so Southport Pier was built in the 1800s. It's actually the oldest iron pier in the country. It's also the second longest pier as well in the country. So here we go, absolutely massive. Now unfortunately it is closed. The entrance to it, you actually have to cross the road and just venture up into town a little bit. I will show you that actually because we're going there. As well as the pier, there is also more modern attractions. Now, Southport has a real mix of some beautiful Victorian style shops, which we'll see in town, and then a newer retail style, which is here on Marine Drive. So you've got a cinema here, 10-pin bowling, and a number of sort of fast food takeaways and shops here. So this is much more of a modern retail park in town, much more traditional, and we're going to see that, and hopefully an arcade, a shopping arcade as well. As Jules and I have walked along, I did forget to mention that if you're coming as a family, there is a place called Pleasureland, which is basically a theme park. It's a small theme park, admittedly, and there's also a water park as well. So if you've got kids and they want something to do, you've also got that attraction. If you want something a little bit more exciting, you have got Blackpool not far from here, so you can actually just head back up north a bit, and Blackpool, I think you can actually see it behind the pier as you walk along Marine Drive. I'm sure I saw the Big Dipper or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called in Blackpool, and I'm not sure if I could see Blackpool Tower. I've probably just made that up. People have got a bit of local knowledge will be telling me that I've just totally imagined it. But that was literally over there that I saw that. What Jules and I shall be doing now is we're literally going to cross the road here at this crossing before the pier, and we're going to follow the road under the pier and up there into Southport. So I'll next see you as we get onto the bridge. Right, onwards, come on. I'm on Marine Way Bridge now, and literally you're going to take this bridge straight over here up into town, and it pops you out into a really good location. We'll see that soon. I just took a little detour. I bought myself a Christmas jumper. It's mid-November, so I'm starting to get in the festive spirit. I do enjoy a bit of that. Last night, Jules and I, back on the pitch, we actually put out some Christmas decorations as well around the Travel Master. We totally chav-tasticked the Travel Master with our snowmen, fake snow and some lights. It looked, I don't really know what to say it looked like, to be fair, but that's what we did. Anyway, so I've got the jumper ready now. So what we're doing now is I'm just showing you the bridge actually goes over the water that runs into Marine Lake. Now you can access Marine Lake. If you just carried on along Marine Parade, you would get down there. There's also some paths along here. I don't know how far those go, to be honest. I haven't explored that. If you're in you know, you like bird watching and stuff, Marine Lake is a great place. I've seen people, as we drove in, doing a bit of bird spotting and what have you. There's a lot of sort of RSPB and things like that here as well at Southport, so there's different things to look at. Obviously find out about those things and what suits you, but otherwise here's the water. and we're going to carry on over the bridge. So what I'll do is I'll just see you once we've ventured over there. After you've come over the bridge, turn right and look for the carousel. It's literally right here at the end of the bridge. This is a good sort of point to remember. Once you're here, you'll have Funland, which has got all the penny slots and bits. This was all in action last night. It was all, obviously all going. This was all open. There was donuts, rock, all that sort of stuff. This is what I've liked about Southport. It's got proper seaside stuff that I like. Some might say it's a bit tacky, but I love it. So you've got the sort of casino-y bits and the machines. You've got burgers and candy floss and donuts, because they're my favourite. There's loads of ice cream shops. And then once you've done this bit, literally, we're going to walk straight down that road there, and then we're going to turn left onto Lord Street. Now, Lord Street runs left and right. We're going to go left first of all. There's parades of shops with all the sort of Victorian style canopies, so we'll see those. Then we'll walk back down and we'll go past the Wayfarers Arcade, which is on that side of Lord Street, and then we'll walk back down to Rotten Row. So this is a good point. If you've got here, you want to head straight off down there. You'll know Lord Street. It's the big road that cuts across, and then there's also a monument, looks a little bit like a cenotaph. It's just situated there. So come on, let's venture off and take a look at these, because this is a very different part of Southport altogether. Come on. So that is Lord Street. We did the top half and now we've come down and done the bottom half, and you'll probably see that the Victorian styling is the canopies that come out all the way down Lord Street. Now, if you've ever been to Harrogate, you may well have seen this sort of styling before, and same with the Grove at Ilkley. It is, the Victorian towns do have this. We also went into Wayfarers Arcade, beautiful Victorian arcade, big Christmas tree was up, lovely glass ceiling. There's also an indoor market, which is, I believe, further up the top of Lord Street. You turn off up there somewhere. Have a look on a map. I don't know exactly where it is, but we went into Wayfarers and that had a lovely feel about it. And then, as I say, we've got down here to the bottom. What we're going to do is Jules and I are going to head back via Rotten Row. So once you get to the end of Lord Street, if you go onto Duke Street and head off that way, you're going to find Rotten Row, and that's going to bring us back past Victoria Park and then into the club site. You'll see a path in there. So that's where we're going. So I shall next see you back on the pitch at the Southport Caravan and Motorhome Club site. And we're back in the motorhome. We wandered down Rotten Row. Now that was quite interesting. Last night it was a bit dark, so we didn't see much of it. But the history behind it is in 1884, that land and the Victoria Park was left to Southport and Birkdale. They're both the places by the Cheshire Railway line. So yeah, and volunteers basically do all those flower beds. They're not very flowery at the moment, it's November, but yeah, apparently they redid it all in 2022, and I can imagine it probably looks fairly amazing. So yeah, we had a nice little trot down there, back on the site. So what I'll do I did actually carry my little shopping bag all the way around Southport. I'm not proud, you know, I'm not bothered. But we went and we got some Christmas jumpers. I've never owned a Christmas jumper. You're probably going to say, well, you probably shouldn't now. But yeah, look at this. Ho, ho, ho. I'm well excited. And it was actually in the sale because it's Black Friday sales today. So I didn't pay that because, my God, I won't pay £22 for a jumper I can only wear one day of the year. Flipping heck. So that's mine. And I got Jules one. He says he'll wear it. So on Christmas Day, Jules and I are going to be like fully decked up in these little bad boys. So yeah, have you got Christmas jumpers? I don't know. It seems to be a bit of a thing. But yeah, there's Jules's. So yeah, Christmas, you can just picture Jules and I in front of our wood burner wearing our Christmas jumpers. So that's that. The other thing I've just got to update you with is obviously the Travel Master, how we're getting on with it. It's very impressive. It's funny because I did think, is it too big, as a lot of us have done, but it is a real game changer, especially with the bad weather we've had. We've had the storm, it's got cold, it has hammered it down with rain. If size is important to you, interior space, then this size motorhome is probably where you want to be looking. We've really enjoyed relaxing in this lounge area and chilling out. We've also got, somebody commented a few videos ago that the Avtex telly had finger marks all over it and I needed to give it a clean. They said it jokingly. Well, they meant it, but they said it jokingly. Anyway, that TV, we've had, we had about 3 Avtex tellies, do you think? We've had about 3 Avtex tellies before that we have purchased them, and we've always found them absolutely fantastic. This one, we've actually spoken to Avtex and we're testing this out. This is their latest Avtex telly, which has, it's got Freely. Jules will be able to tell you all about it. He's going to do a bit more around it, but it runs off Wi-Fi, so you don't need an aerial. We're running ours off 12 volt as well, so we haven't got ours plugged into the 230 system. This is 12 volt, so I can use it on hookup, obviously, but then off grid. I think this is 24 inch in the Travel Master, this one. So we're giving this a test. If you are looking for tellies, obviously these are not cheap. That's long and short of it. But the benefit of these over the other ones that we have tried is that no matter where you sat, you'll still see the telly. So if you're looking for a motorhome or caravan telly and you're not wanting to use a domestic one, you're wanting the 12 volt ones or like these, then when you go to test one, check that wherever you're sitting in your motorhome or your caravan, you can actually see the picture and you don't actually have to be face on. So that's a good tip when you're looking at tellies. So far, yeah, it works, and there's no fingerprints. So whoever mentioned fingerprints, you can inspect that. Right, I've got one more thing to show you. Let's just dive out. Now, as you know, when Jules and I come away, one thing I really like is fish and chips, and we always get them. And this trip's been no different. So last night, Jules and I, we went out and we tried some fish and chips. If you eat too many fish and chips, you end up with all these fish and chip wrappers. Look at these. No, I'm kidding. This isn't from our fish and chip wrappers. This was actually snow last night for my Christmas display that Jules and I made. There's even more in it. We are going to be recycling this at home for our Christmas display at home. Our neighbours are going to love us. They've not seen anything yet. So yeah, fish and chip wrappers. Last night though, talking fish and chips, we tried fish and chips here in Southport at a place called The Swan. Now, The Swan is a takeaway and restaurant doing fish and chips, and it's on Stanley Street. That's sort of set back behind Lord Street, where we've been today. Everybody's raved about these fish and chips. Sean, our friend Sean, who we saw at Bowness, I'm sure he'll be watching this, but he recommended them. Even on the site, they recommended them. And on TripAdvisor, they get really good reviews. Jules and I, we've gone 7 out of 10, to be honest. So not the best, not the worst, 7 out of 10, but they were good value. We just got a small fish and chips, and you got a drink with that. And I think it was £10.50 each. And that was small fish and chips with mushy peas and a drink. And that was sitting in the restaurant as well, not a takeaway. And what, sorry?
That was cod.
Oh yeah, and that was cod, not haddock. The big cod and haddock debate. I personally prefer haddock, but anyway, that's not really relevant, is it? So yeah, right, here we go. Jules and I have had a really good time at this Southport site. We've been pleasantly surprised. Not because of the club site, obviously. Club sites are pretty much very good standard across the network. And that's definitely the case here. It is a big site. I'd say in summer holidays and school holidays, this is going to be very busy. But we're here in November and it's Monday and it's very quiet, as you can see. So the club site, £35 a night we've paid, and yep, no problems at all with the site. Southport's been a bit of an eye-opener, really. Yes, there's tacky Seaside, but that is if you know, like candy floss and rock and donuts, which I do. But you go into the town centre and there's some beautiful buildings. There's those arcades, the shopping arcades, the Victorian feel about it. I know they do have a Southport air show as well, so look out for the time of year that is, and various other things. So yeah, we've really enjoyed it. It may be one for you, it may not. I'm going to put some links in the description, obviously, so you can check out, see where this is one for you. Jules and I are heading home next. We are next away towards the back end of December. That'll be another trip that we're doing, so look out for that one. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.